Damn.
Hey everyone, welcome to Aero Sentinel's channel. Today we are going to talk about the Ninja Easy fill station or fill valve, if you just want to talk about this section. And well, click the like, subscribe, share, and you know that works. Click the bell, that way you are notified of new videos if you folks are interested in this channel and what it brings. So yeah, good deal. Let's go through it, and hopefully you folks get comfortable with doing your own repairs, or getting you familiar with the inner workings and mechanism of and functionality with the Ninja Easy fill. E as in echo, Z as in zebra. So anyway, this basically is unregulated fill station. When I say unregulated, it means that whatever the PSI level or pressure that you folks filled your bottle, that's the output. So it's not a certain output that it can output like a regulated valve or fill station. So just be aware if you're trying to tether it to your gun. This is not it. You can if your air rifle is 300 bar plus fill. As long as you stay within the range of 300 bar, you should be fine. But other than that, I don't recommend tethering with it. It's mainly for PCP. Again, you can fill your airsoft, but be aware that it is high output and it's unregulated. What that means is, with airsoft, you have to be a lot more cautious with the pressures, because the airsoft systems are lower, significantly lower than PCP as far as pressure goes. So again, you can fill airsoft systems with it, but just be cautious, okay? Fill it slow and watch your gauges carefully and shut them off, okay? So you can use them, but be aware of your pressure levels. So what you see here is exactly how we purchased it. You can purchase the valve separate or the fill station separate, aside from the bottle, but we purchased it as is. The only modification we did was this. It came with a short Foster fitting, and we just basically took a coupling or a coupler and then utilized the extended Foster fitting. That way we can utilize it for our various guns and rifles. Okay, so it makes things simpler, easier to grab than that small little short stubby one. And if you have those PCPs that are like, for example, our Brocock Commander, which is the fill port is recessed in. It's gonna be tough getting it out. So the extended Foster fitting will do, and we're pretty much sorted with that. Makes life easier. So this system basically is the reason why it's called easy, E as in echo, Z as in zebra, is because, you know, in one fell swoop you can pretty much open the valve by counterclockwise and fill your bottle or PCP or airsoft tank with it. And then when you're done, you don't have to worry about another valve to purge the line. You basically just close the valve when you're done, counterclockwise, and then basically it'll purge it all in that one step. At the same time, while closing the valve, it'll purge the system. So, and the reason why we're doing this video is for you folks, so you folks get more comfortable and familiar with the system, because ours was just leaked. It was leaking air right about here, and you know, when we closed the valve, it was still leaking air. So, you know, we might as well go through with the breakdown. We've done it already several times because we maintain our systems. So, and well, we try to do preventive maintenance, that sort of deal. So, and it's good for the bottle too, because, you know, I don't care how good your water filtration, when you're, you know, with so many filling, emptying of the tank, well, it's inevitable that you'll get you'll get condensation, especially with high pressure systems. You'll get condensation in your bottle somehow, and well, water inside this. Majority of tanks are the inner layer is aluminum, and water in it not too great. So you just want to make sure you every now and then you remove it, empty it, let it air out, that sort of deal. So it's best anyway. Okay, so let's get on with it. And basically the tools you're gonna need is adjustable wrench, one that can go wide, that you can open the tool wide enough so that it can fit properly. A 3/4 inch socket, of course a driver to go with it, and a ratcheting driver, and a pipe wrench of sort, adjustable. Okay, so this one is the easy adjust. It's good. And then a cloth or hard jean or leather of sort to, when you're grabbing this guy, it'll protect your checkering or you know, the finish. Ours is a little bit messed up a little already, but that can't really be prevented. You can if you're a lot more careful than us. But basically, take a cloth or a leather is best, and wrap it around so that you can grab it, and just make sure you're on the correct grip position to be effective with your adjustable wrench. So anyway, first things first, we're to remove this can be removed. So you just counterclockwise all the way, and the hat comes off. I don't know what it's called, but we call it hat. And from here, you know, you can go ahead. So just be careful. You're gonna need also a 2mm Allen key, and there's a grub screw, a retaining screw, locking screw, or bolt. And you just want to back that up some, and then you can remove this guy. Okay. So, of course, you're gonna take significantly more effort the first time you do it, and what you want to do is you want to hold this guy and then, you know, take it out. But don't forget that locking grub screw. Okay, and then you take this guy out. Don't worry about and prepare a towel or cloth of sort. That way, if things fall, they don't bounce off a hard surface and fly off, and you lose it somewhere. So there's really nothing to worry about as far as O-ring or seals in this guy, and you know, you can basically take this out and so it comes out like that, and that's how that's how this thing works. When you screw in, you can see it sideways. As you go counterclockwise, it pushes a pin on here, which then pushes a ball valve, a ball bearing, which acts as a valve that's sitting and pushing against a hole. So when you push it back, it'll release the bearing and causing air to flow through the hole. So anyway, you can see it, and we'll take it apart. So at this point, there's really nothing to worry about as far as, you know, the components, and so we'll just break it down for you folks, just like so. You can see it. Hopefully you folks can see that. And then from here, you would normally take this guy. It's gonna be much harder this time. It's not that hard, and when you tighten it, you don't have to worry about making it so tight. Don't manhandle it and just go all out, because you don't need it that tight. The high pressure is gonna keep it in place anyway. All you're worried about is just make sure it's snug enough that you're comfortable, there is no air leak, because there is an O-ring anyway, right? And what you want to do here is take it out like this. Alright. And don't put it on your table, because you'll lose track of it. It's gonna roll away, and you know, you'll damage your carbon fiber. I wouldn't use a damaged carbon fiber bottle after it's been damaged externally, because high pressure system, that's just asking for trouble. So put it on the floor, and what you see here is an O-ring. So before placing it back, just make sure you put a little bit of you know, proper grease on there. When I say proper grease, don't go crazy with the grease, and make sure it's a suitable type for you know, high pressure systems. You don't want to use like petroleum based type of grease, or you know, any other grease. Use the, you know, for us, we use 100% silicone, and you just want to lightly coat the O-ring so that when it goes on, it doesn't bind and you know, catch and then get damaged. So you just want to put a light coat over it, and you should be good. So now this is the part where, you know, you would use some sort of cloth or rubber or leather is best to protect. Just make sure you stay clear of your grub screw so you don't damage it, or just remove it all the way altogether, so that way, and just, you know, I don't like to remove it because it's easy to lose, so we just normally leave it on there. and as long as it's completely backed out. And then you just want to make sure you grab your pipe wrench, and you just want to make sure you're clear of that grub screw. And what you want to do is take your leather or anything. In this case, it's not that tight, so we're gonna, but the first time you're gonna do this, it's gonna be tight, so you're gonna have to grab good, okay? And then take your adjustable, oops, sorry about that. You're gonna take your adjustable wrench and, okay, and now you can go ahead and take out this bottom piece. Okay, so this is the piece you have to be careful, and you take it out slowly, don't go crazy. Take it out slowly and be careful, because there is a ball bearing and there you go, and a spring, okay? So a spring goes in there. There's also an O-ring here, so what we do is, again, we put a little bit of silicone or you know, the specific grease, and apply a little bit on the O-ring so that, again, it doesn't bind and then get damaged in the process when you're putting it back. And just a little bit on the threads as well is good. And when I say a little bit, just take your finger and put it on and you should be good, okay? So ours already has it, so we're not going to do that process again. And basically that's all you get, okay? You can't see in there, but there's a, it's like a Durlin type of looks like a, I guess a gasket or so, but anyway, there's a hole in it, and that's where this closes. So just like that, the spring helps with putting tension, as well as when there is pressure, that pressure is going to push this thing towards the to cover up that hole, this ball bearing. So anyway, you know, you want to take some sort of cotton swab, or for us in America, majority of us call it Q-tips. It's the brand, it's not the name of the thing. But anyway, you just want to make sure you clean all the sediments. And the reason ours was leaking was this guy, again, like I said, with high pressure system, there's going to be a whole bunch of liquid that builds over time, and you know, with liquid there's going to be some calcium deposit of sort, and you just want to clean it thoroughly. And just, you don't need to use a rough surface, just use the same towel that you're using and just kind of polish it up some, alright, and you should be sorted after that. And this, you just want to make sure you use a light silicone to just coat the spring, and then you may want to take a toothbrush and clean off some, and then apply a small amount of grease or and when I say small, you're just coating it, you're not applying much of it, you're just coating it to give it a little bit of protection and resistance to moisture, okay, because there will be moisture in here with high pressure systems, okay. And then of course, once you've done that, you just put it back, but we're gonna just leave it like that for now. And that's really it, aside for the bottom piece. And then where this comes in, the 3/4 inch socket, it fits just perfect in there. Let me back this guy up. It fits just perfect in here, and then you want to kind of, okay. So again, you folks would want to use a you know, some sort of protection to protect your checkering, but in our case, it's not necessary, because we've already kind of damaged it some, and it's not that tight for us anymore. Unlike from factory, they make it kind of tight, so it's harder. to remove, and then you loosen this piece out, and there's another spring in here along with this valve that pushes this, so just like this. Okay, and there's that spring, and that spring you just want to inspect to make sure it's not corroded and broken. If it's corroded, just go to a similar size. It doesn't have to be fancy, just go to a similar size, go to like a hardware shop and match it up, as long as it can fit alright and it's the same length and suitable spring tension, you should be fine. And that's basically it. So all this does is sits inside this little space. There is a recessed piece that this it goes in there. It's a little bit recessed in, so it sits like that on this side, and this is all basically, just think about it as a tube, and this like that is tension, and then when this, ooh, see, I lost it. Give me a second, bear with me. Just don't do that, you'll lose it. Anyway, so when this goes counterclockwise, it'll push out, pushing this and allowing this ball bearing to go down and allowing air through that hole that this is blocking. The ball bearing is blocking. So that's basically it. Very simple. Anyway, so we'll put it back, and for us, we sort of put a little coat of silicone there. It's easier to manage later for more preventive maintenance. And then you would just want to inspect and make sure that it's still straight, that sort of deal. Clean off any thing, lightly coat it with silicone as well, and that's basically it. And you want to put it back, okay? And when you're putting it back, just remember that you don't want to put this guy in and try to put it, and then now it's kind of sitting offset, and then you're gonna try and think you can do it like this, and then you can do it like that if you're careful enough. But how I normally do it is I turn it this way, okay? This will fit perfectly in there along with this piece, the guide, okay? And then it's straight, and then I'll just go ahead and put it in upside down, and then while rotating it, I push that down some, and sometimes you might have to just kind of tap it into place, and you want to do hand tighten first, just so you know you're not cross threading or anything. And you want to hand tighten until it gets to a point where it's stopped. Then you're pretty much solid, and then you just go ahead and tighten it if you want at this point, but we won't do that right now. We're just going to go ahead and do the same thing. Don't forget to inspect this, clean it some with a cotton swab, put this guy back after you've coated the spring some with silicone or grease. That way it has some moisture resistance. And then you just want to do the same thing like you did with that one, where you don't want to try and put this guy in there and then the spring. Then when you're putting the spring, it potentially go sideways, and then when you're trying to close it down and screw it, it's sideways and then damaging your spring. You just want to leave it like that. Put your spring like so, and then do the same way, and you should be sorted. Okay, just like so. Alright, you really need to just snug it for now. And now what I normally do is do this. So now you can tighten or snug up. You don't have, like I said, you don't have to manhandle this thing. You just need it to be comfortably snug and not over tight. And you just want to, you know, just like so, just a little. Okay, and now you should be good at this point. What you want to do is put this guy back. Okay, same thing. Get your adjustable wrench on this side. Okay, and you want to take your other adjustable wrench. Make sure you are careful with that grub screw and snug it into place. Okay, now you want to go back with your Allen key, lock it into place. You don't have to go crazy, because it's really no O-ring, nothing's gonna leak. Everything is that ball bearing and the O-ring right here. That's critical. Okay, and that's basically it. Simple. And now you want to put this back. You just want to make sure you test to see if you can feel that spring, which there is tension. Okay, and now you take your bottle. Don't forget to inspect, and also put a little bit of silicone so that when it gets to the point where that O-ring may get bit, it won't, because you put a silicone or a type of grease to prevent that from happening and damaging your O-ring. Okay, and now at this point, same thing. You just want to take your adjustable wrench and just snug it into place, and that's it. You don't have to manhandle it, because again, the high pressure is going to keep it into place, and you should be sorted. And now go ahead, fill it, and you don't have to go to like super crazy high pressure when testing. Just enough, like 1000 psi for the meantime. That way you're not working your compressor for no good reason. Just put 1000 psi, release pressure, and check to see if it's actually leaking. You want to go open the valve, close it, open the valve, close it, and then if it holds pressure, you're good. Now go ahead and fill the whole tank. So again, hopefully you folks like the video. Share for those that may or have Ninja. We're not, this is not a promotional video by any means. This is just for you folks to get familiar with the inner workings and mechanism and functionality of the system, so that way you folks are familiar. We are not promoted, and again, the only thing, this is good. This is a good system. We don't really have a gripe with it, but you know, if I had to say something about it, it would be, I wish it was more compact, shorter. You know, because right now just the valve itself, I mean, it's fairly long, but you know, they'd have to redesign the valving to go horizontal instead of vertical to make it work, you know, and more compact, shorter, you know, but it'll be significantly be thicker, or the circumference would increase. So, but I still would prefer it that way rather than lengthwise. But that's just me. Other than that, I mean, this thing is awesome. Good stuff. You can purchase the valve by itself, but I think it's better cost, better savings if you purchase the bottle with it. So I don't know, some of you folks may just want this, and you can fill this directly to your bigger tank if you want. I think it fits. I'm pretty sure. I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure you can. Given that you have a 5/8 to 18 type of thread pattern, you should be good. So anyway, okay, so again, this is a good system. Hopefully you folks get comfortable with doing your own repair. There's nothing to it, real easy. You saw me do it just now, and there's not much else to say aside from we really like this system. I think it does things a lot better than other fill stations that you have to mess with two different valves to go ahead and purge it after you filled it, and then this one does it all in one step. Fill, and then open the valve to fill, and then close the valve, and it'll purge your line and close the valve at the same time. Simple. So hope you enjoy. Again, if you haven't yet, subscribe, share the video, and hit the like button, ring the bell, or whatever floats you folks' boats. See you folks on the next one, and take it easy.
People on YouTube, you call me a homo, but you think I step by this? Well, that shit is a no-go. You're all coming one, because when